Hello again everyone, and welcome to another Fudgetruck video. This time I'll be teaching you a little bit about Protection Paladin and tanking, and some methods to use when you're tanking to help you gain sufficient aggro and keep you alive. Now I only want to take a brief moment on this. The talents for a Protection Paladin, at least my spec, it's 3-4 in Protection and 7 in Retribution. It allows quick aggro, and it also still allows for utility. Here's a quick look at the glyphs. Glyph of Shield of the Righteous, Glyph of Hammer of the Righteous, and Glyph of Seal of Truth. Yes, Paladins, you will be using Seal of Truth while tanking. Now let's talk a little bit about Prot Paladin stats. Our goal is to get a combat rating of 102.4. Combat rating is basically parry and dodge, miss chance, all of that jumbled into a number, so we can better understand where we're at in mitigation wise. There's a macro I will put down in the description that will help you identify your combat rating and how far you are away from the goal. It's a little bit more difficult than what I just explained, but basically the macro will tell you if you're at it or not. Now secondly, parry is equal to dodge in terms of mitigation. That's what Blizzard said. And basically to help you get that combat rating of 102.4%, mastery helps you obtain that a lot quicker than any other stat. Having more mastery will allow you to gain that combat rating threshold a lot better, a lot easier. Now, while reforging, you don't want to reforge all in the mastery. You still want to keep your parry and dodge somewhat equal around each other. If you have to, you can get rid of some dodge if it's higher. You only want to reforge the higher stat down. Keep parry and dodge somewhat equal to each other because they are equal within themselves. Now let's take a second here and jump into a heroic. The first one I did was Vortex Pinnacle, and this pull's a little tricky at first, and it kind of threw me off balance because I wasn't expecting someone to CC that, and normally I can run in and get charged because you will get stunned and be able to throw down a Consecrate in the middle, and I'll be alright. Well, I lost view of that ad on the right, you see on the right hand of the screen, and it kind of threw me off, but I did taunt it there. It was stunned by somebody stunned it, and it came over to me fairly quickly. Now tanking, you're never going to tank perfect. There's mess ups, and I wanted to put this in here to show that. Even as much experience as I have tanking, you can still mess up. This group I like to mention, was completely new to heroics, so it was a little rough in the healing department and keeping other members of the group alive. But all in all, the heroic got done, and everyone went home happy with their gear or whatever they got in the heroic. And I forgot to turn my UI frames on, and I end up turning them on later. Now, a little later down the road, across the bridge, we get this pull. Again, I was not expecting a CC, so I quickly taunt and pick them back up, and I keep them together. Now, there are casters in here. There's the small little casters that I have with me because I use Avenger's Shield on them. Always do your best to keep the mobs together when you're tanking. Now, tanking is a method, more or less. It's not just all about what rotation you're using, because there's really no set rotation. What you'll want to do is there's two different methods for AoE tanking and single target tanking, which I'll go over after a little bit of demonstration through these heroics. Stunning is always nice. Having a glyph of Holy Wrath that can stun elementals is always a plus. Now there's one caster here, in which I target. Oh, I really don't have to move anywhere because I can just let the others collapse in. You always want to try and make a quick plan where everything collapses towards you. If it's a caster, do your best to use Avenger Shield, throw it at him, and then let them collapse to you. If there's only one caster, just like I did here, I went to the caster and let everything else collapse into me. That's the best way to go about it. Hammer of the Righteous, of course, for AoE tanking, and Consecrate, of course. Try to keep them in front of you. Sometimes it's not as easy as you think it would be. Now let's jump into another heroic where I actually have my unit frames on. I use a threat plate version of Teddy Plates to help me keep threat. So when they're green, I know that I have aggro on them while tanking. Now this group was significantly better than the last. Healing was great, DPS was great, everything was really, really good and really tight. Now there's a bunch of mobs here. Throw down. I lose aggro a second there, but I get it back very quickly. Losing aggro happens, especially when you don't have a second to establish it. But what separates from being a good tank from a bad tank is getting your aggro back quickly. So when you're starting out, you will lose aggro, and it will be difficult for you. But what separates you from being a good tank and a bad tank is getting your aggro back quickly. Assess the situation and use that to your advantage. Now I always do my best to look where my party's at and see if something's attacking them. There's only 2 mobs here, so I really don't need to look back. But I try and keep my camera towards them so I can see if something's coming towards them to attack them. Normally I would be switching between targets to help better my aggro, because as you can see, the hunter is attacking a completely different target than mine. And now if I was to lose aggro on one of these, I would quickly taunt and switch to that target because I wasn't focusing enough on that target like I should have been. And that's a problem. It's all about getting aggro quickly and getting it back quickly. Now when I go into a boss fight, I always use Avenging Wrath, always, for extra aggro. It gives you a really big boost of aggro at the start of the fight. Now you'll see me lose aggro here because this boss does do an aggro trot when he teleports. But like I said, it's all about picking your aggro up quickly. Losing threat, I lost aggro, I taunted. I still have low aggro, but I do have aggro. I lose it, taunt it back, and I get one big hit off and we're ready to go again. Nobody got hit by him because I picked it up quick enough that he didn't go and smash somebody's face in. Lost threat again. Losing threat. Picked it back up. It's green again. So now, I wanted to add this boss because he's got quite a bit of ads. And you would think, oh, well, I see a lot of tanks do this. I see tanks go in and start attacking the boss, and that's all they do the whole time. That's not your job here. Your job as a tank, for anybody, is to protect your party members. Keep them out of harm's way. And what you should be doing is getting all the ads, picking up the aggro on all the ads here, instead of attacking the boss. That's irrelevant. Your DPS, okay, is nice, but it's not going to help in the long run if someone's dying. Someone actually does die here because they step in the fire, but tip for this, always stay with your healer. Your healer's going to keep you alive and keep your other party members alive. If they're getting raffle stomped, it's good game. So stay with your healer at this part for you tanks that are starting out. And just worry about the ads. And you win. Generally bosses are a lot easier to tank. Now a little later down the road, I want to show you some of the more difficult pulls. and how we handle them. I have the caster targeted, and I use a shield in and run in. Now someone left our group, but I let the melee mobs collapse onto me and begin a AoE rotation. If you need to run to where the casters are, that's fine, but make sure you have aggro on the melee ones and that they're collapsing onto you. Now here's a bigger pull. I did that just for show, I guess. Everything's there. Now see, there's a caster back there. But I have enough aggro on these guys up here that I'm going to run back there and let those guys follow me. You can use a stun. Stuns always help. I'm not too worried about the caster because he doesn't do too much damage. They actually nerfed these packs. Now that guy got behind me, so I repositioned myself. Use that Avenger Shield on the caster, and he comes back, and he collapses. Alright, I wanted to show this last group here. As they come out, I use my Avenger Shield to silence the casters and let them collapse onto me. Fairly simple group, there's only 4 of them, but I do lose aggro right there. I taunt and get it back as quickly as I can. I'll try and get it back. And they die fairly quickly. Alright, here's a quick look at an approach at a single target boss. Use Avenging Wrath, Avenger Shield, Crusader Strike, Judgment, and a Consecrate. Followed by a Holy Wrath because I didn't have anything else to push. You want to get 3 Holy Power and use Shield of the Righteous to basically as a Holy Power dump. Your objective is to get as much aggro quickly as you can because most of the time your members of your group will not hold back unless it's probably like a raid boss, then you may have no choice. Crusader Strike is used first unless there is an Avenger Shield proc, then which I will use my Avenger Shield proc first because it will probably hit harder and gives us a charge of Holy Power now. Then I will continue back with the Crusader Strike. Try and keep Avenger Shield and Crusader Strike on cooldown as much as possible. They're your 2 biggest single target threat other than Shield of the Righteous. Shield of the Righteous, you know, you can only use that when you have 3 charges. So build up 3 charges, Shield of the Righteous. Other than that, Crusader Strike, Avenging and Avenger Shield. And anything else in between will help give you additional aggro. Alright, I'm running out of time here, and this is going to be an AoE demonstration. I wanted to go over a few things here. There's basically just a few things I'm going to be doing. Hammer, Consecrate, Avenger Shield, and Holy Wrath. That's pretty much it for AoE. Taunt things that you lose aggro and get them back and continue doing that. Now, I wanted to mention a few things here that I didn't get to mention before as you watch this. New tanks, especially this is going towards paladins. If you're having problem with mana, it's because of your mitigation. And you would think, oh, I want to use, you know, a different seal, you know, so I can get better mana. Well, that's nice, but you're losing a lot of threat generation because of it. Seal of Truth is your main seal. You will want to use it for threat. Your mitigation, as you get better gear, don't be deterred by losing mana and having to drink. It will happen, and it did for me. As you get better gear, you won't lose as much mana, and it'll be a lot better for you. Thanks, guys. I am running out of time, but please subscribe and comment below. And don't be afraid to ask questions, because I will do my best to answer them for you.